We're EarthForce. We are a national nonprofit and the home of Environmental Action Civics. In field chats, you'll hear research-based, actionable tips and inspiring stories of youth-adult partnerships that empower young people to become environmental decision makers. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to Field Chats, Environmental Action Civics Essentials, brought to you by EarthForce. I'm Alyssa McConkey, and I'm here today to have a conversation with our program manager, Taylor Ruffin, to talk about his presentation to the Colorado Science Conference titled, Student-Led Action is Fun. Environmental Civic Action is a tool for engaging youth in climate action projects. Hey, Taylor, how's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah?
I'm excited to talk about this conference because it was a great time. I think it's always fun. Temple Grandin was a keynote speaker, so that was quite the highlight.
I love her. Yeah, she does. She's a great speaker and writer.
Yeah, getting opportunity to be in person is always good too. So I saw a lot of folks that I haven't seen in a while, like a lot of the educators we've worked with over the years, and yeah, it was just lovely. Lots of really great presentations, including this.
Well, yeah, and so you're, I know you were one of the first presenters, went in right out the gates with your presentation, and it was sort of a different angle than we talk about in environmental action civics sometimes, and with our work in general, is this angle of like fun and the joy of teaching and learning in this way. So yeah, what made you like come up with that, or kind of any other context around that before you tell us about the presentation?
Well, it was the theme of the conference was joy in science. And so I was like, And I think oftentimes, we do talk about and showcase the outcomes of the amazing projects. You know, it's like, here's what they did, here's what they accomplished, and showcasing that. And then we also talk about the process and our steps. And we talk about how to do it, but kind of what happens in between, you know, those moments that happen outside of our view, you know, as facilitators of all kinds, you know, educators or community members are working with students, like that joy and that connection that happen throughout the process, you know, facilitating those experiences. I think we don't get to see that often. I mean, we talk about it with those facilitators, those teachers, and we do get it sometimes in reaction reels or reflection reels and video action stories. But I think it's just a glimpse because they're also concerned about communicating about what they did. So I think for this one, it was really great to kind of take it back and say, these experiences and these moments throughout the process are what make it fun, that make all that hard work and effort worthwhile.
Yeah, I also think that there's like just in general, when I think about learning, like as a learner, you know, what I enjoy, and I much more enjoy like the experiential, inquiry-based, those kind of things. And so I think just like in general, this type of learning is just more fun. And I think when students are having more fun, like educators or facilitators are probably having more fun too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they also playing to strengths. So within the presentation,
tell us more.
In the morning, I think it was really great having a session in the morning because people are kind of ready to go and have a little bit of energy versus having a session later in the day. But it was well received. And I led with one of the reflection reels from the Caring for Our Watershed students. And we kind of started that to set the stage. And it kind of lightened everybody up, you know, those warm and fuzzies, because it's like, oh, we see all those things. And within that particular reel, which we'll hopefully be sharing in our show notes, there's a lot of really unique projects and a lot of really unique moments where students were reflecting on their experience and talking about that. And one of them was the project with chickens, and they were wearing their chicken hats and talking about how excited they were about bringing them and that program to their school. Other students were, just talking about the experiences and the skills that they built. So it was really more focusing on the process itself and the experience of going through it, more so than the project and the outcome, which is equally as important. And so that was really great to kick it off. But a lot of times, when you're working with those types of teachers, you know, what's the do, what's the how, you know, give me the thing. How do we do this? And so that's the next part of the presentation, was reviewing, you know, EarthForce as an organization, our staff, and we really focused in on the EarthForce Youth Toolkit, which is kind of our premier student-facing resource that a practitioner or facilitator can use with their students. And we went through that step by step, and they really liked it. They're like, a lot of light bulbs came out. We have some, claim evidence reasoning in there. A lot of those things. I think they really enjoyed the, breaking up of the step, because I think when you're talking about collective action, community action, environmental civic action, I think the outcome is monumental. And it's like, well, then how do we organize this in a way that makes it easier or more fun as well? So I think going through those steps with this toolkit, a lot of those teachers saw how they could apply it in their spaces.
That's so cool. So it was well received overall, and they were like, oh, this does look like more fun.
Yeah, and even a lot of them were formulating ideas of what they wanted to do with their students, because they're like identifying opportunities within their school ecosystem to apply the process. I think that was another part. So like getting those ideas going to be like, well, it looked like that there, because that Caring for Our Watersheds program was out in Chesapeake Bay. And so that's vastly different than Colorado. So I think a lot of them are like, oh, wow, I see the little pieces that they did along the way. And I can connect those to my own community. And so I had a handful of teachers like, oh, yes, an idea, a spark came to them to like, oh, I could apply this to this initiative going on in my school, or these things. We also had a few folks from the Denver Zoo that were in attendance and a couple other nonprofit folks. So even though that conference was designated for Colorado science teachers primarily, there were a lot of other organizations there, I think, interested in how to make the process of learning more exciting and fun and enjoyable, especially around some of those contexts of like climate. And I think this is kind of this next point we're talking about. It's like, why do we think fun is important? And I think when we go and address certain environmental issues and implementing actions, it can feel hard. It can feel daunting. And so showing that the process can be fun and it can be worth that work is really important. And I think that was fun to highlight during that presentation. Like, oh yeah, this is actually something worth doing. All of the effort that goes into it as a facilitator, or practitioner, and as students, because it is a student-led process. Yeah,
that's great. So in the, like, I guess, why do you think fun is important? Like, I guess it's along those same lines, right?
I think it pulls out the process pieces. So at Earth, we have all of these things. I think engaging in student-led environmental civic action, just that sentence is a mouthful. So then think about how doing that in real life will be. And so this idea of understanding that the process has moments of joy and connection throughout it. So it's like engaging with your community, understanding it more, and then tending to it, creating senses of belonging. And so a lot of those more emotional elements of the process, I think fun is important because it really helps pull out the process over product, that it is the friends you made along the way kind of a trope, that during that I experienced this. So in the real, a lot of students had those types of reflections. It's like, oh yeah, when I did this, looking back, it made me feel more confident or empowered or engaged, like having a sense of ownership and place. So I think elevating that value is just as important as the outcome itself or the change that they created.
100%.
And so it's like within a lot of like our traditional survey, you have our surveys and our formal evaluation methods, these types of reflection reels or video action stories really allow students to tell their experiences as they go through it. It's the excitement, it's the triumph, the sense of growth.
And you can hear that in their responses and in a recording or, something versus like a survey that they're just like, check, 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 check. Yeah. And you really can get a sense of like when they're wearing their chicken hats and they're really excited and you see it in, hear it in their voice and you see it in their actions and then you can really tell. Yeah. And you mentioned before just how like sometimes that in climate education is kind of, it's heavy, or it can be because students are looking at the issues of our planet and our communities, which are big. And I think that we have really understood over the last probably 3 years through research is that action is one of the most one of the best ways to address climate anxiety in young people. And then you throw some fun in there too. And that's like, I think that really can elevate it and lighten it. It's like, yes, let's take some action. Let's do something about the problems that we see on a local level, bite-sized pieces. And then let's make it fun. Let's connect with our community and each other. And so, yeah, really love that. Thanks for talking today about fun. And thanks for doing your presentation. It was fun. It was fun.
It certainly was. Yeah. Well, especially anytime you get to be in person, I think that was the most exciting. I mean, we can facilitate these virtually like we're doing now and in our podcast formats and communicating these things. But anytime you get to sit around a group of educators that are doing amazing work, it's always really fun because then they're always ready to kind of bounce it back. You give them something and then they're like, love that. And this is how I think I can do that in my space. And then reconnecting with them and helping them accomplish that as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Taylor, for chatting today. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. As always, let us know what you think over at earthforce.org/podcast. And don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Take good care. Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Bye.